Brutally Honest Podcast. No frills, no chill. Episode 1. What's going on, y'all?
Middle vibes, we chilling.
We good. We're going to have everybody introduce themselves. First episode. Everybody getting to know us. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm going to start with myself. Brandon, Vega, whatever y'all want to call me. I'm the host. Got my co-host here. We're going to start with Joe. Introduce yourself. What's good, bro?
Yo, my thing is cutting in and out, bro. I don't
Yeah, I
even
ain't gonna lie.
I wasn't sure if he was frozen.
I was sure he was just frozen, or he was really frozen.
Bro, I'm like, damn, Joe, you got a mean poker, bro.
I know. All right, Joe Ash, go ahead. What's good, bro?
Yeah, my name is Joe Ash. You know the vibes. I go by Joe or Joey. Y'all can hit me on the. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm chatting. I'm chatting. I'm chatting.
All right.
I'm I'll keep it going.
Yeah, Jamal. Go by Molly Mall. You know, yeah.
All right, last but not least.
Joe, this is you.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Joe. Y'all might see me in the field on some interviews.
Yo, am I the only one where it's lagging?
Bro, you're lagging OD, Joe. I'm about to restart this. Hold up.
He's talking.
Oh my god.
His mouth is not moving.
All my siblings on the Wi-Fi, bro. That's why.
Oh. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, we're going to get into it while Joe kind of figures that out. We got a few topics for y'all. There's been a lot going on. Some interesting stuff. We're going to start off talking about this Will and Jada situation. They back in the news. Seems like... When's the last time? What was that, last year? What was that when they had the entanglement thing? That was last year, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it was this year. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
It feel like it was...
I don't know. Hold up. Let me check. That's a great question.
She's going wild, but we gotta drop her, bro. I can't lie to you. That's a dub.
Jamal already ready.
Hear me out though. Hear me out though. All right. So don't get me wrong. I do feel like Will should probably, in his best interest, call it quits. But in this specific instance, I'm not gonna lie. Media slimed her. Like, don't get me wrong. She has done some.
Why is she still talking?
So from my understanding, I seen a clip of it, and then I read the article. But the title was wild. Most people usually don't read, so when they see a crazy title, which is what media tends to do because that's how they make their money and stuff, they don't even bother looking into it. They just assume it is what it is. So essentially, the media, the title of the article was something along the lines of why Jada struggled to have a sexual relationship with Will or something like that. That was taken out of context. The context is essentially she was saying that women be wilding and they crazy. Essentially, they be expecting men to be mind readers. And that's not how it works. Just because, somebody likes you or somebody, feels very strongly about you does not mean they'll always be able to understand what you're going through and read your mind and be able to pleasure you when it comes to certain things. But media was like, oh, word? You said you can't. You said Will couldn't pleasure you? Say less. And so they took it, made the headline. And yeah, she should just really try to word her opinions and her truth better, so that it can't be taken out of context. But in this instance, I'm like, damn, Jada, it sucks to be you. And I feel like if it wasn't her, she would have gotten away with it. But because she has a history of entanglements and confusions, they do what they do.
I do see that she clarified her statements. I think it was like a day ago. So I'm gonna just read what she said regarding.
Wait, was there an actual video though?
Yeah, I think it was on her.
Actual video.
So I can't find the clip. Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't see the full episode. I saw the clip on. Somebody sent it to me, but I didn't That's my bad. I didn't have it ready, but I'm gonna read what she says. So she said, the thing Will and I talk about a lot is the journey. We started in this at a very young age, 22 years old. That's why the accountability part really hit hard for me, because I think you expect your partner to know what you need, especially when it comes to sex. It's like, well, if you love me, you should know. If you love me, you should read my mind. That's a huge pitfall. So, like, how y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel that opens the question, do you think that when you're in a relationship, like, your partner should know you, or do you feel like women have kind of like pushed that onto men, like they should just know, men should just know, or your partner should just know?
I feel like it comes with, well, the whole thing, knowing your partner, that comes with time and trust and like just relationship. Like, because even my boys, like, I know certain things about them that the average person wouldn't know, or like certain things I know that they will do, certain things I know they won't do, just because I've been with them and I'm around them, so I know them. But yeah, I feel like to a certain extent that is valid reasoning, but if you see that the needs that you have are not being met, it is your responsibility to make sure they are met. That is not your partner's, not your children's, not anybody else's but yours, I feel. Like, so let's say, for example, the example they use is sexual relations. Don't get me wrong, your partner should, have a bit of an inkling. You guys have been together. They should have an inkling of how to, arouse you and stimulate you and whatnot. But even if they don't, it's not their job. It would be a nice like thing, but that's not their job. Like, nah.
It's not a job.
At the end,
wait. You
nah.
said it's not your partner's job.
No, it's not.
Okay. Wait,
Like,
are we speaking
look at it,
of boyfriend and girlfriend type thing? We're talking like Jada and then like married. Like,
well, I mean, even if it's married, like, I look at happiness and like all that. Well, I look at happiness as a personal thing. Don't get me wrong. Other people can add to your happiness and they can like, add to your fulfillment. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to like find some source of happiness outside of other people. Like whether it's your passion, whether it's just you love life or something, but like you can't rely on people for happiness, because let's say somebody dies or somebody lets you down. What are you going to do now? It's just like, yeah, you're screwed. So like how I look at it is always have like internal happiness. Not like that whole like self-love crap that everybody be preaching, but like, yeah, just like, have something that you look forward to. If you can't, I feel like you should try to find it. That should be your goal. If you don't have happiness, your goal should be to find happiness. Not necessarily like, oh, this makes me feel well. Not necessarily like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find it in this person, that. No, like just find something that makes you happy. Find essentially a purpose for living. It doesn't have to be anything.
you're saying like find happiness in an untangible, like, but like what would be like in like something that's not tangible that you would find happiness in?
Okay, for example, for me, I find happiness in skating. I find happiness in playing video games, depending on the games, with like friends and stuff, because it's like camaraderie and whatnot.
Yeah, but those are still like, but those are still, so the things like those are still physical things. So like, say you like broke your leg, right, and now you can't skate. So then are you just going to be unhappy, or like say like you just, I don't know, your game don't work and you got money to buy another one, you're just going to be unhappy just because of those? Because you see, like you're still talking about happiness from like a physical thing, in a sense of like your happiness still coming from something that's physical. Not it might necessarily be a person, but it's still something.
I feel like it's more like, well, when you put it like that, I feel like generally speaking, like, all right, my happiness comes from knowing that at the end of the day, this world is beautiful and I'm going to see it. Like, that's where my happiness comes from. That's where my joy comes from. That's where my purpose for living comes from. Because I know at the end of the day, what I have in my head is I want to see like different cultures. I want to see different people. I want to just like explore. I want to learn about the world, because this world is hella big. And like, yeah, for me to just stay in this small space for my whole life, it's a dub. Like, I'm not doing all that. So like, I want to actually travel, see some things. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are other things, like the little mundane things that can, bring forth happiness to me. But generally speaking, my purpose for me at least, that's what I think my purpose is to explore, travel, experience. That's what I like to do. That's my purpose for living. And yeah, so I feel like once you have a purpose, you kind of find happiness, and it like kind of goes hand in hand, like around there. So yeah.
So what would you say to that, Jamal?
I can see where you're coming from. I personally just disagree in the sense of I think happiness is something that's like internal and not necessarily based on any external factors. I think external things can like change like your level of happiness, but I think like ultimately I do agree with the sense of like you like being happy and not relying on somebody else. But I think that happiness has to stem from something higher than yourself. And honestly, that it for everyone is different, right? Like some people go to like religion, some people go to like just like a like person in power that they want to be like, like someone like, there's leaders, world models, something like that.
Essentially an ideal or concept.
Yeah, but like, like most people, I mean, I feel like most of the time it should be based off of a concept, something that's internal, so that, it's like you have inner peace and inner happiness, and you're not really, like you said, like relying on anyone else for that. But at the same time, when it comes to a partner, they can, expand that happiness in a sense. You know what I mean? It's like you're already happy with yourself, but when you have someone else who you can spend time with, it's like,
so it's like an extension of that.
Yeah, it's like an extension. Exactly. It's like kind of like working out, like you work out and you can still get muscle, but like taking protein is like a good supplement. You know what I mean? And that's what your partner should be, is like a supplement, not necessarily like the actual act, but like that supplement that like it really does help boost. You know what I mean? Like yourself. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just how I feel, especially with like the whole like Jada and Will thing, with them being like together and talking about like just going back to the initial thing of like knowing your partner. I don't think that anyone knows anybody completely, right? Like no matter how much you like spend time with somebody, like you don't know, you know what I mean? Like that's why people get married and they be like, oh, they changed like like years later, it's like, because people do change, but ultimately like you don't fully understand it. You can never fully understand another human being, but the biggest thing is communication. You know what I mean? So like when you guys are first together, it's like that love and it's all fresh. So it's like everything's happy and more like everything's more beautiful. You know what I mean? When you're first together, and as time goes on, you start to get kind of annoyed by the person. You start to like things get repetitive. But ultimately, all that comes with.
Well, why do you say that though? So you're saying that it starts off good, but are you saying inevitably it's going to end, in a bad way? You saying you start getting
not necessarily going to end in a bad way, but inevitably doing the same thing, like with any human, doing the same thing over and over and over is going to get boring and repetitive. Like no matter what it is, like it doesn't matter what the thing is or who the person is, like just being around someone or doing the same thing over and over and over is going to become like, it just becomes too repetitive and boring for most people. I can't speak for everyone, but for most people, doing the same thing over and over.
So then bringing it back to Will and Jada, then like,
yeah.
So, what Jada's saying is that they got together young. Yeah. 22 I guess it's young nowadays, but I'm one to kind of look at things traditionally in some sense. So I don't think that's necessarily young, but that's what we'll go with what she said. She's saying they started young. They've been together for a minute, however long they've been together. I don't know. So do you think in this case, it's like things have gotten stale? Like where do you think things are like falling off? Or do you feel like things have fallen off based off of what you've heard?
Based off of what I've heard, I feel like things have fallen off on one side of the relationship. Like I feel like it's like I feel like they're staying in the relationship, but it's not. I feel like it's more of a one-sided relationship where it's more like Jada kind of feels a certain way about things and wants certain things, and then Will trying to be like a good husband is accommodating to her needs, right? Well, maybe he might not truly agree with those things or feel internally, but he'll swallow the pill and go ahead and make that sacrifice, which is actually like a good thing to do as a husband, honestly. But it's like also as a husband,
that sounds like hell to me.
Well, so the thing is like making certain like with any relationship, it's going to be a sacrifice on both sides. But the problem is when only one person is sacrificing, because as you can see, like Will is the one sacrificing his entire self. And I mean, obviously, like I don't know their full relationship, but from what I see and from what media shows, it doesn't seem like Jada's really making too many sacrifices. You know what I mean? As far as like to sacrifice herself to come to Will's needs. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, relationships are double-sided. And that's why I think like with their relationship, it probably did become stale for her, but not, like, you know what I mean? Like maybe not, maybe it wasn't stale for Will. Maybe it was stale for Will. Who knows? But either way, it's like, you guys are in a marriage, right? So you're committed to each other. And so from there, that's where the communication part comes in. And it's really heavy that you communicate with each other, because ultimately you can satisfy someone's needs like to the best of your abilities, but you can pretty much get like close to like what someone like someone's peak. But it was really just about communicating that. So like if she did want to like spice things up, they could have done like more. Like there's a lot of things you can do sexually, physically. Like there's just a lot of things you can do mentally with just each other. You know, like I don't feel like there's a need to go outside, because there's not much of a difference between like you and me, right? As like we're both men, we both have the same type of parts, maybe not like same size, same like, all that stuff, but ultimately it's like
this guy.
How many inches did she really do? You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, like, so like if you're not getting something from one man to go to another man for something completely different, it's kind of just like, it's kind of ludicrous in my mind, because it's like we all pretty much have the exact same thing, not like same like actual thing, but I mean like we all bring the same stuff to the table. And especially with someone like Will, he's kind of bringing more just because of his status, his wealth, his stuff like that. So it's like, I get it where you can feel the sexual desires and the lust for other people, but it's like, if you're married, it's kind of like, bruh, you kind of made that commitment. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point of the vows? What's the point of the, you know, like death do us apart, all that stuff, if you're not actually gonna stay to it? So that's my real issue with it. It's just like, what is marriage like? Because I feel like they're kind of like trying to have an open relationship in a marriage, and marriages are mutual.
So you think it's confusion, pretty much?
Yeah, it's very, because marriage is supposed to be inclusive. That's kind of the point of getting married. It's like if you want to be, like, I don't know. I feel like if you want to just be out, it's like what was even the point of getting married? Because the point of marriage is literally to be exclusive. It's not
tax
really
benefits, baby. Tax benefits.
Joe,
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, all right, so like I wouldn't have any problem if they were just like, you know, like they've just been dated for a long time. She wants to like have an open relationship. It's like, all right, do you? But in a sense of a marriage, is like, come on, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school. I don't know, but I feel like a marriage is definitely like a special bond between two people. And sure, it's gonna go up and down. And like I said, over time, it might get stale. But that's where you guys communicate, and that's where you guys try to find things together, though. Like kind of the whole point of a marriage is to make sacrifices for each other and give your full self to the other person, you know? It's hard to do that when you add other people into the mix. So
got you. Joe, you got the last word on it. We're gonna move on to the next topic.
I agree. There isn't really much. I mean, I personally don't think marriage is really working for today, but when we actually talk about marriage, I do think that it is supposed to be an inclusive type of thing. I mean, granted, you do what you want. It's your life. You live it how you live it. But I just feel like it's a little, I don't know. You do what you want. I'll put it that way. But for me personally, I'm not on that type of time. I think that marriage is a little more personal. It's more inclusive. Well, it's more secluded. Like, you know, it's just me and another person. And then, I mean, for me, I'm a little bit religious, so I got into my mix. But yeah, for like everybody else, I feel like it should just be you and that person. You guys vibe. If you guys have problems, don't get me wrong. You can seek counsel from like your close friends if they're wise. But like, I feel like for the most part, you know, you should keep amongst yourselves. Go to therapy if need be. And, you know, really work out your problems, because that's how I feel like most things go stale so quick. So my little 2 cents on it.
All right. Good points. We're going to move on to the next subject. This is a hot topic right now. Everybody's been talking about Brittany Renner. I have my thoughts. I might give my thoughts on this one. I don't know. I have some thoughts on that girl, but...
Question. Enlighten me on the situation.
All right. So we're going to talk... Well, y'all know about the PJ Washington thing, right? That's her baby daddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. PJ Washington. NBA forward on the Hornets, right?
Hornets.
Still on the Hornets?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Still on Charlotte. And this man is, I think he's like 22 or something like that. And I want to say she's 30. It's like 36.
No, I think she's like 29.
20? Is it? Nah, it's just like 6 year difference. Oh,
yeah, I could have sworn she was still in her 20s.
I'm tripping.
30-something for 6 years.
Oh my word.
That's what it was. PJ's 23, and then she should be like 29, 30. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, 29. So people have been coming at her saying that she was pretty much like a predator. She has posted pictures. She was at some HBCU talking about, I'm here to, pretty much
hide your son or something like that.
She said, hide your son, yeah. So to me, she's been wilding, but I want to hear y'all thoughts on it. She was on Akademiks podcast, Off the Record. I'm going to show a clip right now. She was talking about her giving her defense to this whole baby daddy situation and whether she's a predator. So we're going to play that. All right, so we're going to leave it there. Let me get y'all thoughts. We're going to start with Joash. You go first.
This girl's a hoe, bro. She's wild, bro. No, my thing is, don't get me wrong. I feel like as men, you got to know what you're getting yourself into. No matter how old or young you are, you got to know, at least in Western culture, that there are some... don't get me wrong. Everybody has it like bad. There's no perfect person or no perfect gender and stuff. So there's like stuff on both sides that everybody has to deal with. And one of the stuff that we as men have to deal with is once you get money, you got to be careful who you lay with, because some people will take advantage of you. I do feel like at some point, he does need to be like, yeah, I know I messed up, like, everyone was telling me, bro, come out with like some type of, not necessarily an apology, but just let everybody know that you take some form of accountability. Because at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, she messed up, like, she's fouled for that, taking advantage. But bro, like, nobody told you had to do it, bro. Nobody told you to hit raw, Nobody told you none of that. Don't get me wrong, it's still messed up of her to take advantage of that, but at the end of the day, you got to take some form of accountability. So yes, she a hoe, but respectfully, to me, how I look at it is you can't really when you're dealing with a certain caliber of woman, i.e. Brittany Renner, you can't expect certain actions or certain qualities out of certain types of women. So if you already knew the type of time, you would have just, as she said, hit and quit. Hit and call it a trophy. Call it a trophy kill, if it's anything. But, for you to, like, get caught up, don't get me wrong, she probably played her cards right, did what she had to do. Because women have that charm sometimes, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to keep yourself protected, because it's a cold world out here. You feel me? It's a cold world. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
All right, Jamal, what you got to say?
Let me hear what you got to say real fast. I know you got something to say.
Listen.
Let's hear what you got to say.
I do agree with Joash that he has to take accountability for his actions. I think him being 23, that's young.
Wait, did you say he was 20 though, right? When they first started? I feel like he was really 18, 19. Because he's still in Kentucky at this point, you know what I mean? He's not in the league yet.
Okay, so
he's college. He's not 23. He's not then.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. So to me, I think that, is she predatorial? I would say yes. Like she's clearly preying on, these young ball players. I don't know who her exes have been, who she's messed with in the past, but just the vibe that she's giving off is that she's looking for a bag. Like, she's literally said that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in that context, that's literally predatorial. And you can call it gold digger, you can call it whatever you want, but that's the term. It kind of boils down to that. Now, I do think he needs to take accountability because growing up, if you have a father in your life, your father should be telling you, if you're going to go out there and do something, don't bring a baby home. You know what I'm saying? It does seem like he was ready for it. At the same time, I don't know. Like I guess I could see it both sides. I could see it like someone saying he should take full accountability for what he did, because if he didn't go in there, if he didn't like tell her he want to move in, he want to have the baby and all that, then there wouldn't be a baby. But at the same time, her being 29, you know what I'm saying? Like to
like how I look at it is
go ahead.
My fault. This man,
go ahead.
All right, like if I think back on, I'm not 26 yet, but if I think back on the wealth of knowledge that I have now at 25 versus when I was 20, it makes a massive difference. Like the knowledge that I have now, the things that I know now that I did not know at 20, like, yeah, I would probably I wouldn't rule the world, but like I'd be a little farther ahead. So like, yeah, no, there is a lot of information. There's a lot of like a wealth of knowledge and experience that comes with just living. And she took advantage of her expertise or her experience and used it in the most evil way.
You're talking about listen, you're talking about Brittany Renner, bro. Brittany Renner, since I was in high school, which is some years ago, this girl has been known. You know what I'm saying? Like this girl has been out there. She's had that notoriety for the type of girl that she's portraying herself as right now. So it's nothing new. It's just that, this happens to be a young man who gets in the NBA. He's making millions. You know what I'm saying? He's feeling himself. He's seeing the girl that he's seen for however long. And he's probably like, he's probably like the girl or whatever. Now he's got a chance at a girl who tons of other guys would kill to have. So like, to me, it's like, okay,
stick with your 7 from high school, bro.
You said what?
Stick with your 7 from high school. You see Savannah, bro?
Nah, bro, chill. It's different though, bro. Like, it's really different because you gotta admit, like, back in college, bro, it's like you see a baddie like that, you feel me? Like, you're not really thinking like, oh, like, she had thought, like, even if she is a thought, it's like you still like, yo, I'm gonna clap. You feel like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, bro.
I'm pretty sure he knew that he hit it raw and that he rushed in it raw. He could have been like, yo, the plan B, or what's going on? Like, how you doing with that? Like, abortion, what's going on? How you doing with that?
She said that
she was on birth control.
Yeah, and they talked about it, and then she got
talked about it. Yeah.
So honestly, like,
so it sounded like he was ready. I mean, I don't feel like he had his head on straight. He was probably talking right after he killed. Yeah, he was feeling himself.
He had that personal clarity, bro. What's up with this man?
Nah. He had that cuddle clarity, bro.
That's why I said, you got to see both sides of it. Like, this man is wilding. I'm not gonna lie.
This man is wilding. Like,
he's definitely
to a certain extent. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel bad for the kid, but I can't feel sorry for him. Like, because I'm like, bro, you did it to yourself. I feel bad for you because you're in this situation, but I will never feel sorry for you because you did this foolishness to yourself. Like, there were a lot of opportunities that you had to either turn back or get the situation reversed. Or you could even I'm pretty sure he could have like fought a little harder for custody. He's a millionaire at the end of the day. What is she? Probably a millionaire, maybe at best, but she does not have as much as he would have.
A woman
always. So I'm like, no.
In that situation, women pretty much always win.
And then he could have been like, yo, I'm a great daddy, da da da, all the blah blah blah. And then he could have defamed her. Really, like he could have been like, yo, this woman is a piece of crap. She exposes herself online, da da da. He could have done all that.
Yeah, none of that matters, bro. Because at the end of the day, he chose. So like the thing is, I'm not mad at her at all. Like I don't blame her at all. Actually, to be honest, like sure she was like being a predator.
Bro,
because he was specifically she was definitely being a predator because she was specific.
She's not even worth $1 million though. That's the thing. Like you could have definitely fought a little harder. You feel me? Like,
bro, it's not fully money though. It's not just who has the most money. It's who's more fit to, you know. He can't really have a baby traveling state to state to state to state to state to play games. Like,
I mean,
who y'all think watching that baby?
Right now, do you think that she's actually watching her child?
Prayers up for the baby.
Prayers up for that child.
That's why we feeling the most. Like, that's why I feel bad for. I feel feeling bad for the babies. I don't even care about the parents because they made their choices, but the babies, but that's tough. Especially like porn star babies, like Lana Rhoades, and like all these OnlyFans babies. Imagine going up. You go to school and niggas like, so I seen your mom on TV last night. Like, nah, bro, chill, that's tough. That's a tough life right there. I feel so bad for them, bro. I can't lie to you.
So one thing she did say though, she had brought up how you know, like when it flips, like if the man is older and the woman is younger, like nobody really says it's predatory. She brought up like Jay-Z, Beyonce, that age gap that they have, right?
They do though. People call men predators all the time, but like
millions of people have called this man a predator, and they
hold on, one at a time.
No.
I've heard it several times on the topic of Beyonce and Jay-Z that he groomed her, blah blah blah, this and the third. Granted, I don't feel like it was a grooming, but I mean, people were like, "Oh, he was talking to her since she was 18, and he was like in his 20s or something like that," and I'm like, I feel like that was more professional, and then it maybe got a little more casual as time went on. I mean, you don't know where their relationship thingy, but then again, I'm pretty sure there was a post like a couple of weeks ago or last week that went viral of this man who he raised like his ex-wife's or his ex-girl's daughter, and then he married her when she became 18 or something along those lines. I just find it a little wild. So I mean, people can look at it like that.
That's a true predator.
That's not what we're talking about. Definitely not what we're talking about. No. But like, not to just keep it specific with Beyonce and Jay-Z though. Like, to what she's saying is when it comes to men being older, and you know, being attracted to younger women, that is not, you know, there's like a double standard. And she's saying that, you know, nobody keeps that same energy when it comes to the men doing it, but with her doing that, or if that's what she wanted to do, it's a problem. So like, do y'all see a problem there at all? Or
yeah, I think it depends. I think everyone sees a problem in different things. Like as you can see, there's people who support Brittany, you know, and there's people who have a problem with it. Like there's both sides.
I heard anybody support Brittany.
There's a lot of these women. I'm telling you, a lot of women out here, you know, talking about get that bag. Congrats, but no, I mean, like, people like always mentality with things, but it's like, who cares? Honestly, it's like, bro, like, think about it, like, if you're a college student, right, and you're going out with a high schooler who's like 19, 18, people have a problem with that, right? They see it as like, oh, like, you know, like, it's not just a man and woman thing or a woman and man thing. It's like, it's just a certain age range, you know what I mean? So like around high school.
Once again, this is Western culture.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is Western culture, but it's true. But it's the culture we live in, and so like people see that as like weird. You know, like if you're 25, you want like an 18-year-old. No matter if you're a guy or a girl, people see that as weird. You know, like in our culture, it's not. I don't know. It's like what she's talking about with age difference is like, nah, bro. Like no one cares once you're like past 21. You know, once you're 21 up, it don't matter. Like nobody really cares. Like, you could be 21 with a 40-year-old. Nobody's really like, oh, disgusting. But if they're below 21, like the legal age, then everyone like has like a whole different mindset.
21 the legal age. That's crazy.
I know, okay, but like, yeah, but ultimately, I think it's just like the time span, like in which you did it. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't 19 and he was 30. It wasn't. She was like well past 21. So yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's why it's like not such a big deal, because it's like we're talking about the age of maturity. Really, that's what it really comes down to. That's what the whole 21 thing is like. You're supposed to be legally mature in a sense, and like, and in college, we know that college kids are not mature, man. Like we all think we are, right? But we never really are mature, you know. And so that's why it's like, and like, sure, like we can say yes to things, we can give our consent, but it's like how
Do
mature
you understand the full, like,
exactly the full scope of like what we're actually doing. You know what I mean? Like niggas don't even know what degree they want. Like, bro, niggas don't know nothing at that age. You know what I mean? Like everybody's trying to figure it out. So for you to be like someone who's older, who knows a little bit more, like you said, like things you know now at 25 versus if you were 20, like that's just a 5-year difference. And you already like have a whole plethora of knowledge. You know what I mean? That you didn't have before. And so for you to take that same knowledge and try to go back to like that same age range is like, bro, chill for a second. You know what I mean? Because like they don't have that same knowledge. You know what I mean? And I think that's why it's more predatorial, because it's like my man's is in college. Well, the PJ Washington incident, it's like he's in college. He's a hooper, you know. And of course, there's going to be a lot of girls out there. And why wouldn't he like have like? Why wouldn't you have sex with, you know, this girl, that girl, this baddie, and all that, right? It's like I don't know. I think that's where Brittany's messing up and is thinking that like, well, he hit, and if he's old enough to ride the ride, then he started up. Like, it's not really that. He, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think like he's there physically, but like not mentally. You know what I mean? Because he's thinking.
That's where I'm at. That's why I say that.
Yeah, and
me that comes off predatory, because she understands what she's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
He might not.
Yeah, he's thinking, you know, like, what I'm saying? Yo, this is fire.
So if there's one person that's taking advantage of the situation, it would be her.
Yeah,
undoubtedly, like
advantage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you coming on Instagram Live, I don't care if it's entertainment. I get that people do stuff for clout. I don't care if it's entertainment though. If you could come on Instagram Live and be like, "Stepdaddy season,"
she be wilding. No, that's
insane. That's insane.
No,
but I'm gonna let Joash
take advantage of him.
I'm gonna let Joash give his thoughts. I might chime in. I'm gonna let Joash give his thoughts.
No, I really don't have much to say on that. I feel like
particularly particularly the double standard. So do you see? I'm gonna kind of rephrase it. So like, I'll give a scenario. Or I'll just say it like this. Do you look at a couple that has a 61-year-old man and a with an 18-year-old woman differently than you would look at an 18-year-old man with a 61-year-old woman? And then if you do see it differently, what would you say the differences would be? Like, why are you looking at it differently?
Yes. All right. So well, no, technically no.
That was a quick flip, bro. What's going on? Explain that.
All right. So I was gonna say, yes, I look at it differently, because for older men with a younger woman, to a certain extent, with those age ranges that you just gave, I view it slightly predatory, because once again, even though women mentally mature a little bit more faster than men, they're still not fully mature at 18 to be making those types of decisions.
So let's go with 21. Just for the sake of it, then let's go with 21.
I'd like 25, 61 and 25. Let's say it's 61 and 25 for both, whether it's man or woman thing. I don't view it as any differently, but I do not view it as predatory. Reason being, I feel like at that age, people are able to make their own decisions. Granted, I do feel like somebody's taking advantage of somebody. Like, for example, if there's a 25-year-old guy with a 61-year-old woman, she has to have money. That is the only reason I see a young man wasting his prime, his youth, on an old hag, respectfully though. Because like, you know, they have more experience. They can probably teach you a couple things, do a couple things that the younger ones can't. But the viscous innards ain't as viscous. The viscous innards ain't as viscous. So I'm like, I don't know. Would you want to give that up? No, I don't think so. I mean, that's just me. That's my personal opinion. With it being the other way around, where it's a older man and a younger woman, I feel like that works out a little bit more. Usually being because, at least in Western cultures, men, when we're in our like prime, our youth, we're not necessarily looking to settle. We're looking to conquer. Like, you know, it's more of how many can I get? It's more of a quantity over a quality type of a thing for a lot of people. So yeah, when you get a little older, you tend to slow it down. You tend to settle down a little bit more, and so like you're trying to find somebody around your maturity level who still has a bit of attraction and isn't like somebody your age, respectfully. So that's why I view it as an older man and a younger woman isn't necessarily too off-putting to me. But yeah, that's just my personal preference or personal thoughts.
Jamal, you look like you disagree with that a little bit.
No. I'm just listening. I'm literally just listening, like, and just thinking. No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I do feel that. I feel like men really change, though. You know what I mean? Like as they get older, I feel like women not so much, in the sense of like a man's values changes after like 20, from the age 21 to like 27 into 35, it changes. But a woman's is kind of just like what do they like, what really changes with their values and stuff. Like maybe like their thoughts on things, and like maybe they get a little wiser, but I don't think they really change. Like just like a drastic change. I think that's why the problem really comes with age, and like at what time the age period is. Because like if I tell you like my mom's 32 and my dad's 50, nobody cares, right? But if I say like they were 16 and he was 30, right? It's like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really just a numbers thing. It's like, because those are both the exact same thing. They're 18 years apart. And the mom isn't, that's not actually mom and dad. But, if, just like as an example, like both of those two things are 18 years apart. But it's like, if someone says 16 and 30, people are like, yikes.
The levels of maturity is
exactly versus them being 32 and 50. Like nobody cares. Like, because you get, because most people understand that after around like 25, 26, most people are like mature enough to actually understand the what they're doing.
The full gravity of every decision they make.
Exactly, everything. So that's why I really think it's more just like a certain time frame when it is predatory or considered predatory in the Western civilization. Personally, I don't really care. I mean, as long as it's not like a little kid, like a minor, but like, but not like I can see like where the double standards are, and I mean it's just how the world is. It's unfair, but like we're not the same. Men and women are not the same. Double standards exist, and there's a lot of double standards that women have that men don't have. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things women get away with that we don't get away with. But it's like, are we gonna complain about it, or are we just gonna live life? Like it exists, but it is what it is. We're different, so
yeah, there's like a natural aspect to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good points. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a turn. Got a question that we've been sent in. And it says, what makes a woman a side chick? What makes a woman a side chick?
Like to a man, or as an actual woman, just like herself, like.
Honestly, I don't have any context to the question. But
makes her a side chick? I mean, she wants to be a side chick. What do you mean?
I'm gonna assume they mean like side chick material. Like what makes a man determine whether she's gonna be a side chick or not? I don't have to speak from experience. Just what I'm saying. Just don't incriminate yourselves, but you go ahead.
I feel like what makes a woman a side chick, or can we also include FWBs in side chick? I guess you can consider them one and the same. Are we doing that
here? I wouldn't say so, because side chick would mean that you have a main and then you have one on the side.
So I'm a cheater.
Okay, I mean, if you want to, you gotta whatever terminology you want to use, go ahead.
I'm just making sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
What qualifies a woman to? Okay, so are we asking why a girl would be, or what makes a girl? Because if we're talking what makes,
I think go from the standpoint of the man choosing whether or not she's going to be a side chick. Because I don't think you're going to find a lot of women who don't know that they're the side chick. So let's not go.
Okay. You're saying like if she's a side chick, but she don't know she's a side chick.
Yeah. So it's let's say the man is determining whether he's making that choice. Like, do I want to wife her? Or I'm gonna just keep her on the side. Like, what makes a woman a side chick? What makes the man want to, choose that?
I mean, he would have a main though, like he said, he would already have a main though. So she would, by default, just be a side chick.
Even if he might be feeling his options. You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes him pick one over the other?
Mm.
I'm just trying to help the person out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who sent it in. It's anonymous. So,
How I feel is for you to be a side chick, you got to be, all right. There's two things. Number one, if you're known by my friend group, there's no chance for you, because granted, if you're known by my friend group, they probably know something about you that they'll probably tell me. And I'm just like, yeah, for my girl, I don't want to know anything. Don't tell me, because why would I want to know about that? That's just going to put thoughts in my head. I'm going to be like, damn, you was out here wilding before you met me. That's crazy. Like, you ain't got to tell me. I know, but you know how some things are better left unsaid. Yeah, that's better left unsaid. That's one. Two. All right. So if I have a main and like she's like, I'm gonna cheat, obviously she has to look better, and she has to be a lot more fun and like carefree type of thing. Like, probably the only reason I would ever cheat, not that I've ever cheated, black men don't cheat.
That's a fact. You can say it again.
Black men do not cheat. But the only reason I would feel like is if I'm having like issues and I don't feel like they can be worked out at the certain time, and I just need like some form of stress relief. So that's where other people come into play. They're just fun, they're cool, they're easy to talk to, and they just listen. Like, I feel like most women don't necessarily understand that the most important thing, don't get me wrong, looks are important, like, cooking, all that, whatever, feminine, womanly stuff is important. But I feel like the most important thing for men is just being able to be heard and like be listened to, because generally speaking, like, it's either men don't cry, suck it up, blah, 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 da, da, da. Don't get me wrong. In certain contexts, I do feel like that is an appropriate response. Like, you can't just be whining and crying at every little inconvenience. But I feel like our culture has pushed it a little too far, where it's like we are not allowed to express certain emotions and certain feelings. We're not allowed to like actually show that we have these feelings. And that's why sometimes people will always say, oh yeah, men are so cold, they don't know how to express themselves, da, da, da. I don't know what it is. But it's really just that we've like pushed so hard for certain like aspects or certain things. We pushed it a little too far, so that now it's uncomfortable for us to actually do said actions. And even when it gets comfortable, you haven't been taught how to process or like how to deal with the said emotions. Like, for example, if I was to break down and cry over like somebody close to me passing, don't get me wrong, in the moment, it'll slide. But if my girl's probably never seen that, she'll probably like, think like, yo, why he crying though? Like, I mean, I lost a little respect for him. I've heard this on several occasions. I'm like, damn, like, he was really going through it. Like, it's painful, like, losing someone. And it's just like, damn. So I feel like, and they were like, the person who was telling me was like, oh, it wasn't even that I felt like I felt bad for feeling the way I felt, but it's just the way I felt. And I'm like, damn, that sucks. Cause like, even in our times of distress, we're still to a certain extent not allowed to go to certain people who are supposed to be close to us for comfort. So that's why I'm like, yeah, with a side chick, bringing it back, she just got to be fun, understanding, and yeah, just able to listen. Don't get me wrong, if I'm going to cheat, she got to be cuter than my girl, though, because if my girl ever did find out, she's going to be like,
devil's advocate. I'm with you, but I could play devil's advocate on that. I'll come back to you after Jamal gives his thoughts, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the wrong person to ask. I don't really do side chicks, but I can tell you what would make a side chick. I mean, like, I can tell you why girls are side chicks and they don't know, and it's because they already given everything. They give everything up, so it's like without commitment. So like, what would entice a guy to even make you his girl? He's already getting everything that he needs. He's getting everything. So like, what else does he need You know what I mean? Like if he can have sex with you, you giving him money, you doing all these things for him, right? And he ain't committed. What's the difference between him being like, yeah, you my girlfriend versus what he's doing already? You know what I mean? It's like he's already getting everything that he needs from you. So it's like you a side chick. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't actually want to be with you, but he's getting all the pleasures and all the lustful desires already set. You know what I mean? And so I think that's really what makes women side chicks, is because they be trying to like, I don't know, like if you're in a relationship and you're saying, I don't know what we are, you're a side chick. Because it's like there's no way that you don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like there's no way that you're just like lost in the dark, like, oh, I don't know what we are, we're getting
like, at all, yeah.
Yeah, like come on, bro. Like you're just a side chick, bro. Like there's no like if you can't be a girl enough to be like, yo, I want you and I want you to be my boyfriend type joint. Like if y'all been dating for a while and he clearly hasn't, you know what I mean, made any type of advances as to like actually trying to claim you, and you never bring up the subject, you're a side chick. You know what I mean? And it's because like you're already fulfilling the duties without him having to actually commit.
So then to move, instead of continue with this, then so like how would you, like if a woman was to come to you and be like, I found myself in situations where I've been the side chick like multiple times, I don't want to be the side chick no more, what would you say she has to do to put herself in the best position to not be a side chick?
One, she gotta hold out on giving the pussy up, because that's the one. That's like the one treasure that she holds. That he.
You said she got moved to another state.
Hey, that's true too. That's true. Because you right though. If she well known, she a side chick, because no guy's gonna want to be like claiming like, yo, this is me, and she's already been around the whole thing.
You start your entire life. You start that life.
If you're in that situation where you well known, you gotta move somewhere.
If you're in Dallas, move to Cali. If you're in Cali, move to New York. If you're in New York, move to Canada. If you're in Canada,
where'd you move to the Middle East, man? You'll get you a husband. You move to the Middle East.
You gotta go. Because respectfully, like as I was like saying earlier, as I was trying to point out earlier, like, why would I like give you the world when you've been giving it, as Jamal said, why would I give you the world when you've been giving it out to other people for free or for less work than I would be required? I look at it as an investment. I'm investing in you. Like I'm investing in our future and all that stuff. Why would I invest in something that has been shaky or has been like, given to other people? It's been used. It's been messed up. It's been like left out, it has stuff in it. Like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that sounds like a bad investment to me. Any person with like, good business sense would not, invest in something that doesn't seem to like, that seems a little risky. Don't get me wrong. I do feel bad for these people. That's why I'm saying, like, if you have found yourself being the side chick in multiple stories, it's time to change cities. Pack your bags.
Yeah, you well known. Like there's the other thing too is also like, I feel like as a woman, you're more likely to be a side chick if you're just caught up in like your physical self. You know what I mean? Like if you pride yourself on like having a fat ass and having like if you pride yourself on things that like have nothing to do with character, you're more likely to be a side chick. Because there's a lot of girls with ugly faces, fat asses that niggas hit all the time. You know what I mean? But nobody's gonna like be like, yo, this is my girl, or like this is that. Because even we know, like, we can't bring you to our Thanksgiving with our family because we know like you don't have the personality, you don't have the characteristics. You know what I mean? You're vain. You're really just a fat ass. That's all you are. You know what I mean? Like can't bring you around the parents, can't bring you around the friends, the bros. Like so it's like, how can a guy really cuff that or like make that his if he can't really do things with this person, you know what I mean, outside of just sex, you know what I mean? So that's kind of also how they fall into the side chick lane, is that they're so caught up like, yo, I have a fat ass, I'm cute, why does nobody want me? It's like, how's your personality? Like you kind of crazy, like you annoying, you talk too much, like, you know what I mean? Like it's just little things that like people don't actually work on themselves. Like they always want to blame other people, like I should be this, I should be that. How come no one But they don't actually look inwards, you know what I mean? And I think that's like a big thing too, because a lot of girls think that just because they have a fat ass and have a pretty face, they should be cuffed. And it's like, how many other girls are in this world that have those exact same things? Like you're not special because you have that. Like what else can you do?
So you would say the focus is on the wrong thing.
Yeah, because they're too vain, right?
So make it plain then. Like, what should they be focusing on? Should they be focusing on? Are you saying they should be focusing on themselves at all, or should they be focusing on how to please a man, how to get a man to?
No, they should be focused on themselves, but they should also be focused on what do men want. You know what I mean? Because like, if you want to be in a relationship with a man, you got to know what he wants. You know what I mean? And it's more than just sex. Of course, we want sex, but there's more. There's more than just sex. Like, it's like the nut is whatever. Like after you get the nut, it's like, you know,
you've already perfected the craft. I feel like on that is a very good point that you brought up. Most women don't necessarily know what men want, which is peace. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's really mostly just peace. But men have already perfected the craft. If you ask any man what a woman wants, I'm pretty sure he can list about 2 to 3 things at least that a woman will want or a woman will desire, which is like a nice, kind, loving guy with money, essentially. That's what every girl wants. We know what women want, but women haven't really taken the time to actually figure out what men want for the most part. Everyone just assumes that sex is like the gateway to any young man's heart, which is very perplexing because there is, I believe, for every woman in the world, for every guy, there's like 2 or 3 women. So it's like, you're not special just because you can literally massage. Let's not go there because we can have sex. Let's just not. But yeah, the point is.
That's specific.
Point is. Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of people have really, like, at least in our culture, we've really overemphasized, because don't get me wrong, physical beauty and attraction is important to, sustaining a relationship at a certain level. But I feel like we've overemphasized this and we haven't really put enough effort and emphasis on strengthening our core traits, beliefs, and personality, as Jamal was saying. Most people that are really attractive or even like famous, they don't necessarily always get along with people and they're pretty rude, or somebody will always have a story of how, like, a celebrity has done them wrong because they have been so caught up with, making money, with the lifestyle, that they forgot to work on themselves internally. So they might have the looks, they might have the external, but sometimes the internal is a little bit lacking and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think just to encompass what you also said, like what I would say is like it's the structure. You look for a woman that has structure in her life. So there's this culture that's been created where it's like, just be free with yourself, with your mind, your body, like do whatever you want. And like, it's usually the women who do the opposite, who like, they're like, yo, there's certain things I just can't do. Like discipline, like I'm not going to let my body just look any type of way. I'm not going to just give my body to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like it's those women that end up getting wifed up and having them long-term relationships. But, what is media putting out? What is society pushing forward? The opposite. They're saying, it ain't important for you to even have a man in the first place. And my thing is, if you come at relationships with that mindset, why would you think you're going to get anywhere? It's not like you just completely take men out of the equation. You know what I'm saying? And that's how women move at this point in time. So like, I think if you're coming with any type of mindset similar to I'm just going to do whatever, like whatever is in my mind and however I'm feeling, then yeah, he gonna do the same thing. Like men could read that. We gonna look straight through that. And we'll be like, all right, so yeah, okay, you want to be free with your body? All right, give it to me, and we'll see where it goes from there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you want to waste your time,
it's to me, it's like, I think a lot of women think men are just stupid. Like we're not thinking when we're in this, and they're just like, oh well, yeah, because they, like Jamal said, it's not like you just give it up and then we're just gonna cling on to you forever. And like it's never worked, but people still do it. Women are still doing that, and I think I think, structure is so important. That's what I look for personally. But, I think just men in general, even if you don't know what you want as a man, I think you're going to respect a woman more who's going to have that structure in her life. That's like, no, I'm not just letting anything slide. No, I'm not just giving it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's also not place all your expectations onto the guy and, let your standards be the only key to, finding the relationship that's going to last. You got to pay attention to what he wants as well, like Jamal said. So I think just to encompass all that, that would be my thoughts. I'm trying not to give my thoughts on this because, I could talk a long time on these subjects. But
go ahead, bro. Keep it going. But you're right though, 100%. And like that's the thing though. It's like society is pushing people away from actual relationships and marriage. I feel like the things that are promoted are the reason why people can't get into good relationships, because it's like what they see all day on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's promoting a whole different culture, and it's telling them, do this, you can do this, you can do this, but you can also have this. And it's like, nah, like that's not how it works at all. And
no consequences.
No consequences. And it's like what you said about exclusivity. It's like it's right. Like nobody wants a girl that got mad bodies. Like and it's not even just like about bodies. It's just like just take away like man and woman, right? And relationships. Look at everything in life that's exclusive. It's like it's more valuable. Like a 101 pair of shoes goes for thousands, millions of dollars. Mona Lisa painting, millions of dollars. People even pay for like there's actually people who pay like millions of dollars for a virgin girl. Like literally, they'll pay millions of dollars for a virgin girl. You can go get a hooker for like $20. You know what I mean? Like you can go get a hooker for like $100. But for virginity, they be paying millions, bro. And I'm telling you, it's like exclusivity is the thing that like people want it. Like I gotta have it. Like I gotta have these Dior ones because like there's not that many. Everybody don't got it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with women. It's like that's how we as men we think. We're like, yo, I want this girl because not everyone has had her. Not everyone can get her. That's why she's special. It's because like I got something that I know not everybody else has already had. Like it's like, what do you want? Do you want some Dior ones, or you want some beat down Air Forces that everybody already walked through? It's like, come on, bro. It's like an easy choice. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think the culture that's being promoted right now is that, men are dogs, men are this and that. So why can't we be also as women? You know what I mean? It's like, that's not how you fight. Like you don't fight fire with fire. Like just because men are out here having a bunch of bodies, being hoes, doesn't mean that it's okay for you to go out and do the same thing and then expect someone else to be like, yeah, but I still want you. And I just, you know what I mean? Because you're trying to play by our game, and it's just not going to work. It just doesn't work because of the simple fact that for men, getting sex is actually an accomplishment, but for women, giving out sex it's not anything. It's something that you have that you're giving out. You know what I mean? Like you're giving out sex. You have that gate. You're the one opening it for everyone else, versus men having to actually get through that gate to get in there. You know what I mean? And that's why it's more of an accomplishment for men to have more bodies. But even then, it's not like even women don't want men who have 100 bodies. That's why everyone always talk about body counts and no one wants to say the real number, because even women know that. I don't want a man that's been with 100 other girls. And likewise with men. Men don't want a girl that's been with 100 other dudes. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like everyone's just trying to play these games, and it's like, I think that's the main reason why people can't find relationships or like build good relationships, is because everyone's falling into this narrative of like city boys and hot girl summer. And it's like, no, it's not going to get you anywhere. Like, I'm young, I'm dumb, I can be free. And it's like, nah. Every action you have, everything you do has a consequence. And so just because you're young, it's not an excuse. It's like, you have to think about going forward. How people see me? You know what I mean? What do you want? And are things you're doing going to lead you to that? You know what I mean? If you want a man, a nice husband, does being a hoe lead you to that guy? Or does being a virtuous woman, more exclusive, lead you to that? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I don't know. It's with anything in life, you just have to think about what you want and how you're going to get there. And the things you're doing will lead you there or not. It's pretty simple, honestly. But it's just a narrative of today that's just got people going crazy. It's always a competition between men and women. And now it's like you said, women are starting to hate men. Like, we don't need men. We can be without them. And men are starting to hate women. Like, oh, they're all hoes. They're all thoughts. Even though they're not. I'm going to say all women are thoughts. I'll say majority for sure in this day and age, but not every woman is a thought and not every man is a dog. But the narrative is pushed so hard that like, you know, it's to the point where people kind of just expect it. You know what I mean? They don't expect a good virtuous woman or a good nice guy. They just expect everyone to be on the same timing. Let's be on demon time. Let's be on hot girl summer, city boys up, you know, all that BS. That's just like, I don't know. It's getting people the wrong way. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All right, I hear you on that. So we're gonna go to our last topic. This one's a little interesting. So we all grew up on Jay-Z, right?
Nah. I'm from Cali. I definitely listen to Jay-Z, but not like that.
Okay.
I didn't grow up on him.
All right. Well, anyway, you know about the Jay-Z Dame Dash beef that's been going on.
Yeah.
Pretty much for all right. So looks like they are.
Enlighten me.
Joash, come on, bro. Yes, you do. Everybody knows that Jay-Z and Dame Dash have been beefing forever over Rockefeller and all this. It's an ego thing, but
money.
That's what it is. Anyway, they're looking to squash the beef. It seems like Jay-Z gave his flowers to Dame Dash at this award ceremony, and or it wasn't an award ceremony. It was actually he was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And shout out Dame Dash. Dame Dash responded, was like, you know, let's like take the lawyers out of it, all that. Let's squash it. So the question came into my head. This is my question to y'all. Do y'all think it's easier for men to squash beef between like other men, or do you think it's easier for women to do it? And if one is easier than the other, what makes it easier than the other? Question makes sense? Do I need to rephrase it?
No, it makes sense.
All right, good.
Simple question. I feel like it is just as hard, no matter the situation, because if both people are put in the same situation, they have the same circumstances, so similar, if not the same outcomes are possible. But what is more likely is that men will squash the beef, because I feel like men are a little bit more objective, and to a certain extent, we're willing to like essentially stick to the point, like get to the point. What is the point here? We have an issue, like for example, this the beef. They know what the issue is. The issue is they fighting over Rockefeller and all that extra stuff. They like, yo, this is the problem. All right, so what are we gonna do to fix it? All right, this is what we're gonna do to fix it. Nobody's gonna. I feel like if this was women, to a certain extent, not all women are the same, but there are a good percentage of women who would have probably, even when they went to go meet up to squash the beef, would start talking ill about family. They would start talking about a whole bunch of stuff, just being a little bit passive aggressive and all that extra thing, and it wouldn't get resolved. Don't get me wrong.
Why would you say that is though? So why do they resort to that? Like it seems like you're saying what you had said was that men are more objective when it comes to that type of stuff. So what is making the woman want to, go outside of the actual situation itself?
Because when I feel like women are insecure and threatened, they tend to respond with violence. And usually, I mean, men, we understand the threat of physical violence. That's why usually most men don't necessarily like talk crazy, because we understand that if at the end of the day it hits the fan, like we have to throw the hands, and some people hands work a little bit better than others. So in order to save face, most people will just either talk a talk, or they'll bring some type of weapon, or they'll just like watch their mouth. But with women, they don't necessarily understand that, and so they'll they don't usually respond with physicality, but they'll respond with like verbal violence. Like they'll start talking crazy. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of men have had instances where they might have gotten their woman, their girl, their mom, some form of female in their life upset, and instead of like responding or like trying to diffuse the situation, the girl will go for blood and bring up an instance, a circumstance in which you were vulnerable, or you did something that you're not proud of. And the only reason for that is to hurt you, to inflict pain, to make you feel as bad as she does at that current moment. She might regret it later, but at the end of the day, she said what she said. And I feel like that's what a lot of women do. They will tend to go for blood, and they will tend to use anything, any ammo that they can to essentially inflict harm, usually verbal. And so when women hear this, they like, oh, that's weird. That's how you feel. That's how you always felt. Say less. So I feel like the issue will kind of just never end, or like it will go on, and they will just like not ever salvage said friendship because, yeah, things happen sometimes. I don't think I've ever heard of like, well, I've heard of it a couple of times, but not very often do I hear of women who actually like go through things and recover from friendships. So, life.
Yeah.
All right, Jamal, how you feel about that?
Nah, I agree. I mean, man, hey, we are definitely more logical and we just be kind of chilling. Like for the most part, I feel like when it comes to like forgiveness and stuff, it more depends on the person and the circumstance. Because definitely with men, when it comes to things, it's like if it's like a one-time incident, for example, like say like he like F my girl or like did some shady, you know what I mean? Like just did something shady. It's like that's something that can be forgiven, right? And most men will actually forgive, like, you know,
No,
like,
I can't forgive you for that one. No, I'm not gonna lie.
what? Oh wow, nah, no, I swear, bro. Like I literally seen people like just fist fight, like straight up brawl, and then be like, all right, good stuff, bro, dap up, like literally,
I
you know.
mean, if we do that, then yeah, nah, beef
And
is
it's like, yo, all
fine.
right, you got it, you got it. You know, I'm just like, it's like we cool, like we can. I mean, we could fight and be cool afterwards. But I feel like if you're like as a guy, if you're like actually like that's like your actual characteristics, like you're known to just be like doing slime stuff all the time. It's not necessarily that we won't forgive you, but we just won't move with you. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna really message you on that type of time. And like we'll still like dap you up, be like, yo, what's up? Whatever. But we're not gonna really try to go out of our way to do extra things for you because it's like we just know how you move, you know, you move funny. And it's not too many people like that. It's not too many people like that. So for the most part, I say that men do forgive and, you know, reconcile more than women. Because women be holding grudges. Like I swear they like for themselves, for other men, it don't matter. Like you mess up one time and I'm done with you, like type of thing, like forever. Like one, I've seen girls literally like be like, I would never, ever, ever talk to that girl again because she da 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 da, right? And it's like some from middle school, some from high school. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like what are you all even talking about? You know, it's like, yeah, like just like stupid stuff. But it's like they really hold on to it. Like, man, we go about our day. We keep going forward. Like we don't.
And I've heard multiple stories like that.
I hear all the time. They be like, I'm like, yo, I'm like, wait, why you act like that towards her? She did it in middle school, huh? I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. It's kind of weird to me because I can't think of nobody from middle school that I hate or that I'm like, nah, like I'll never talk to that person again. Like as far as like men, because it's like we was kids, like it ain't nothing. Like you know what I mean? Like over time, like we think more objectively, like okay, like we can get past it. But I think
so would y'all say like their emotional nature is what's kind of aiding that, like that you know they're not really willing to forgive because they remember how they felt in that moment or whatever, and they just get stuck to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Most memories that we have are attached to emotions or how things made us feel at the time. So the fact that women are more expressive with their emotions and more, vulnerable with their emotions, I feel like that kind of, allows them to remember and hold on to things a little more because they always tap back into that rage, that anger, or whatever emotions that they felt at the time. And they're just like, oh, wait, nah, screw this hoe. I'm never forgiving this dumb broad, blah, blah, blah. You get the point.
Yeah, they're very in tune with their feelings. And I think it's just their nature, you know? But both sides have the capacity to forgive. I'm not saying they can't, but I'm just saying the majority don't. They tend not to because it's like, they don't even see any benefits towards it anyways. They're just like, they can, because in their mind, they can live their entire life without that person. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's whatever, you know? That person's gone out. But like with us, it's like, we're not going to really like hold it I don't know. I can speak for everybody, but a majority of men do not hold grudges like that. Like I literally had people hit me up on Facebook, like, "Yo, my bad for the way I treated you in high school." So I'm like, "Yo, my guy, I wasn't even thinking about that, but for sure." I mean, for sure, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. Like, I'm not like, "Oh, you don't hit me up that or you're blocked." Like, no, I'm just like, damn, bro, like that man came around, you know. God bless, you know what I mean? But women would be like, don't even, that are like, they'll have that person blocked. So there's not even really a chance for them to even reconcile, you know what I mean? They wouldn't even have that person, you know what I mean? Like women will like do things to like 100% get them out of mind. So I don't know. I think it is like, because their natural inclination towards feelings and like what Joe said, like them really like being in tune with their feelings. So like when those situations come back in their mind, they can also feel that like deep hatred and that deep, you know what I mean? Just that deep grudge. And it's like, that's tough. Sounds tough.
Great points, y'all. That was the last topic. That wraps up episode 1 of the Brutally Honest podcast. If y'all are still here, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel for more content. We're gonna see y'all in the next video. And we out.
Yes, sir.
We out.
Peace.